They really are connected, huh? So the first card that we have is Page of Coins again. Second card we have is the Ten of Swords. And for the third card we have the Devil. This is so interesting. I think that this pathing, this storyline, is very much like a brief look into, you know, the things that they've gone through together as a group up till the present. To break it down, you know, we've got Page of Coins again in the beginning, which we talked about. The childlike energy, the concept of, you know, being wild and free. And then we have Ten of Swords. It looks scary, I know. There's some cards in tarot that look scary, but they mean well. This has got to do with, you know, abandoning any sort of like preconceived notions that you have, any assumptions that you've been holding on to. It's a sign to let those things go. It's like this sense of relief and release, because it's kind of like a roller coaster. You know, as a new wave, you know, you come into things feeling very energized, motivated, ready to take on, you know, whatever comes your way. But over time, you know, with all the work, with all that preparation that comes before debut, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, it's a lot to go through. But I think in the case of Krisis, it was a time for them to get rid of any sort of ideas or ways of thinking that were not realistic, or, you know, there's a struggle, obviously. There was a struggle there. But I feel like if they haven't already, it's kind of like a sign or a reminder to let those things go, because now you've debuted. You've crossed the finish line of pre-debut and now you're here, you know? So there's this feeling of kind of like the process of becoming a butterfly. You shed the cocoon, you shed whatever was kind of weighing on you before showing yourselves to the world. That's the feeling that I get from this. Like taking off the old and stepping into the now and the new and just enjoying, you know? And then going into that with the Devil really kind of solidifies that idea of getting rid of misconceptions or preconceived notions, because this card has to do with separating what is necessary and what is unnecessary. Things that you need versus things that you want. Things that are important to consider versus desires or stuff that are like indulgences. And I feel like going through the struggle that was the Ten of Swords, they were able to differentiate and have a better understanding, better like discernment of knowing what is important to consider, what's important to keep versus what should be let go. And that goes for, you know, mentality, emotions, content, things like that. I feel like it has to do with the material and the spiritual. Of course, no one is perfect. No one can really know fully, you know, how to balance things right away. But that's why I feel like these cards have come out as like a reminder of just, you know, you've gone through this struggle as Krisis, but out of that came a lot to learn, a lot of clarity, a lot of information, a lot of new ways of looking at things, new ways of thinking. The feeling I get from this cards together, I feel like I can sum it up in a phrase. When in doubt, remember where you came from. Remember what you did to get to where you are. That's the kind of phrasing that I'm feeling from this group reading. This is so wild. A lot of the same cards came out. That doesn't happen often with when I'm reading like multiple people like this. So it's very interesting to see. You know, a reminder that, you know, all three, they're their own person, they're their own individuals. But I do believe that there is a red string of fate that connects all of them together. That's my reading for Krisis. Again, I hope that if they are listening, or if they are watching, or if they choose to watch this later, that this was able to provide some sort of guidance, that it was able to help in some way, because that's all I really want at the end of the day. I could be wrong, things could go differently, but that's the future, you know? The future can always change.